This video has been designed to help you work on a healthy headspace. If at any point during the video you need help, you can call the New South Wales Mental Health Line on 1800 011 511, Lifeline on 131114, or visit eheadspace.org.au to chat to someone online.
Hey, I'm Will.
And I'm Gabby. If you're watching this video, it's because you've decided to reach out and get some help with your mental health.
That is a huge first step. Often before taking that step, people can feel really alone. And even now you may feel anxious, low, disconnected. Or you may have started to put some things in place and are feeling a little bit better.
We're here to let you know that you are not alone. You will be okay and you're already taking the first steps towards a healthier headspace.
Reaching out for help is a huge first step, but you did that. So let's go work out what comes next.
Last time we spoke about the basic building blocks for good mental health: breathing, eating, and sleeping.
How are these three areas going for you? Did you try to make any changes? If you tried but didn't have the progress you hoped for, that's totally fine.
Making lasting changes in our habits, routines, and behaviours can be big challenges. We can feel overwhelmed, unmotivated, guilty for not doing enough.
So how do we overcome this? How do we actually change our habits? How do we set the kind of goals we can reach and feel great about? That's what this video is all about. Every year in January, masses of people try to make big changes in their lives.
Gym memberships go through the roof.
But fast forward a couple weeks, and a lot of people feel disappointed with themselves because the lightning bolt of inspiration they felt on New Year's Day has gone, and they haven't been able to stick with their resolutions.
Maybe you've experienced this. Why does it happen?
Well, there are a few things going on here. Inspiration is great, but we need more than a moment of inspiration if we're actually going to change our habits. We need to learn how to set the right goals, take the right steps, and measure the right things.
Let's start with the kind of goals we set.
Goals can be really helpful if they are the right kind of goals, but not all goals are equal. For example, we might want to become a better person, eat healthier, feel better.
But these aren't really goals. Everyone wants things like this. But when our goals are too vague, too difficult, or too easy, they aren't actually going to help us make positive changes.
It's kind of like a special recipe for making a good goal, and it's SMART goals. So a SMART goal needs to be specific. It needs to be broken down into exactly what we're going to do. So if I want to feel healthier, that's great. That's a great idea, but it's not a goal. If I want to be able to run 5Ks by a specific date, that's specific. You actually need to kind of have an idea of exactly what you want to do and what it's going to look like. It needs to be measurable. The problem with a lot of people when they set goals is that they don't measure their outcomes, they don't measure how they're going, and so they lose motivation. So if I want to run 5Ks, I want to do it in the next 4 months, I might say set myself a distance goal to meet every week, and I'll track my progress over time, so it needs to be measurable. It needs to be achievable. So we actually need to have the resources that we need to achieve that goal. If I wanted to be an astronaut, that's a great idea. Do I have the resources that I need to fly to the moon right now? Not so much. And that's okay. I might need to plan a longer term plan on how I'm going to get there. It needs to be realistic and relevant. So is it relevant to you in your life at this time? Is it something that you need to be focusing on? Is it where you need to be putting your energies? We need to be able to fit this goal in with everything else that we have to do. And is it realistic? Is it something that you can do in the time that you've set? So I might say to myself, I want to run a half marathon. And that sounds like a great goal. But if I then say to myself, I want to achieve that in a month, it's not realistic anymore. It's not achievable. So we really need to think about the timeframes that we're setting ourselves up for. The other thing is that it needs to be time sensitive. We actually need to agree on when we're going to do it. Set yourself something that you can do today, something really small, and start from there. I would say start with one goal only. You're more likely to set yourself up for success. If you set the bar really low and you're kicking goals over that bar, then increase it. But if you set the bar too high and you don't make it, you're pulling yourself back down. It's impacting on your motivation. You can always scale up. It's much harder to scale back if you set the bar too high. So start small, start with one only.
We all like the feeling of kicking big goals, but a great way to create lasting change in our lives is to actually focus on small habits. Habits are the little things we've learned to do without even thinking about it.
Essentially, habits are made up of 3 parts. A cue. For example, your phone dings.
A behaviour. You unlock it and look at the notification.
And a reward. You socially feel connected and your brain releases some dopamine, which makes you feel good and makes you feel more likely to repeat this process next time your phone dings.
Around 40% of our actions are habits. They're the things we've done so many times we no longer think about them. They just happen on autopilot.
Our brain is always trying to save energy, and making habits out of things that we do all the time is one of the ways that it tries to do this. In a nutshell, we want to make helpful habits easier and unhelpful habits harder.
For example, I used to wake up and scroll social media while laying in bed. This habit didn't make me feel very good. So I moved my phone charger to a different room of the house, and I now leave it there overnight. This makes it much harder for me to lay in my bed and scroll my social media.
There is lots of great stuff out there on how to change your habits. Understanding what your habits are can be a great place to start.
For example, if opening our cupboard and seeing a packet of chips becomes a cue for binge eating the whole pack, guilty. One way we can change that cue is by not having the pack of chips in the cupboard.
When it comes to changing a habit, like going to bed early or swapping out fries for veggie sticks, there are some really helpful things to keep in mind.
Start with the smallest change you can sustain. A guy named James Clear, who wrote a book called Atomic Habits, says it's like this. If you want to become a runner, the most important habit to start with is putting on your running shoes. Do that at the same time every day, and then after a while, start going for a really short run, like 2 minutes. As this becomes a habit, you'll start to go for longer anyway because you've already started. Same deal with almost anything you can think of. Go to bed 10 minutes earlier instead of an hour earlier, and build your way up over time.
Focus on consistency rather than perfection. If you're trying to build up a sleep routine and you have 5 steps you want to hit every night, it's better to hit at least one of them every night a week rather than hitting all 5 at once and giving up the next day.
Work on it with someone else at the same time. Do this with a friend or another family member. Share the habits you're working on and set a time each day or week to text each other and check how it's going. Be each other's biggest cheerleader. It makes a massive difference. Moving our thoughts from our head to a piece of paper can be really helpful. You don't have to be a creative writer to benefit from this. We're going to show you a few tools that anyone can use. Does your brain ever feel really busy and full of thoughts moving fast? Olivia's going to show us how to do something I like to call the daily dump.
Hey, here's how we do the daily dump. The daily dump is something that I like to do when my thoughts get a little wild or I can't seem to concentrate. So, the first thing we do is pull out our phone, put on a 3-minute timer, then we pull out a piece of paper and a pen, and basically what we do is we just keep writing what comes up for us, whatever we're thinking, and the rule is to not let the pen stop moving. And there are no wrong or right answers. It could be a grocery list, it could be the things you're thinking at that time, just write.
The daily dump can be great for helping with a busy brain. It can also help us to move from judgmental thoughts to curious ones, giving ourselves freedom to dump anything in our brain without worrying about whether or not it's the right thing to write. We can also use writing to help organise our ideas, sort out a plan, and develop a clearer vision of what we want to do. Research shows that when we write something down, we're approximately 40% more likely to follow through with it. That's a pretty solid increase. Let's give it a go.
Why don't you pause this video for 2 minutes? Write down something that you want to work on. There are some questions that will come up on the screen to help you figure it out. Just grab a pen and paper and jot down your answers.
You can build something like this into your life regularly. For example, some people like to start the day by writing down the 3 key things they want to get done that day. Again, these don't have to be huge. It could be 1, walk around my block. 2, drink 4 glasses of water. 3, text a friend to check in.
Nothing beats the feeling of ticking something off the list once you've done it. In the next video, we are going to level up on those fundamentals and explore 3 more areas that impact our mental health: moving, connecting, and playing. Between now and then, we want you to know, you are not alone. We are here to support you.
What you're experiencing is okay, and many others are in the same boat.
You've already started working towards a healthier headspace.
In the meantime, you might want to check out some of our other resources, apps, videos, and podcasts available at the link below.